All right, y'all, this brief, but this message came to me this morning. But this is what I want to share with y'all. Do not get weary in well doing. You will reap if you faint not in due season. And y'all can Google it. That's in the Bible. But don't get weary in doing good, okay? Don't negotiate or exchange your integrity and your good moral characters to be a part of the world, okay? Or to be accepted, all right? Because what you hold is very valuable and it's very rare. Because that's what a lot of people don't hold now. While you got people in the world trying to take shortcuts, trying to do what the masses is doing, you know, everybody just following suit. You know, if it's a style, everybody doing it. And sometimes y'all might even get looked at as like y'all being weird. Some people might take y'all as being uppity, or maybe you think you better than somebody else, or you act like you ain't never did nothing in your life and all this other stuff. But I know the narrow road can be lonely. And I'm talking to those who are on the narrow road, okay? The ones who are concentrating themselves, the ones who are reading their word, the ones who are, you know, cultivating that relationship with God, the ones who are, you know, prayer warriors for their families. I'm talking to y'all, okay? I'm talking to y'all, the ones who are choosing not to act off of their emotions, the ones who choose to acknowledge the fact that all things work for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his will. Okay, now that's Romans 8:28. I'm talking to y'all. Don't get weary in well doing. And what dropped in my spirit was I had read a book. It's by Cindy Trims. It's called Unstoppable. And in that book, she got a story she had shared. And it's about a guy. He's a master, or let's say, for instance, not a master, but he's royalty. Okay, so he's like a king. And he want to, you know, pass his throne down to somebody. And he chose not to pass it down to his, you know, family and friends and people he knew. So he called all the children in the community so that they can come to him. And so he can pick one of those children to take over the throne. So he like, okay, hey, which one of y'all are going to take over the throne? He was like, well, I got a test for all of y'all. I'm going to give each one of you children, it was 15 children, I'm going to get each one of y'all one seed. Y'all plant that seed and y'all bring me back a harvest. Like, let's say, for instance, it's a tree, or y'all bring back a plant, or y'all bring back some fruit. But I'm gonna give all of y'all one seed to plant for 1 year, and when you come back, that's who I'm going to pick as the next person to take over the throne. The kids were so excited. They was delighted. They was like, oh wow, we about to be, you know, we got an opportunity to become king or queen. Oh, this is exciting. So they all go home, and it was this one young man, his name was Ling. Ling go home, he was excited too. Ling put his one seed into a pot. His mom helped him, and you know, weeks went by, and Ling noticed that his tree wasn't coming up, like his seed wasn't sprouting up. So, you know, he kept looking, and then, you know, all the other kids, he'll come around the other kids, and they'll be talking about how well they, you know, plant is doing, or they fruit or whatever. They'll be talking about how well everything going. And Ling, he just kept quiet. He was like, man, he like, ain't nothing happening with my seed. You know, I have nothing. It's just nothing but dirt and over my seed still. So, you know, he feeling down or whatever. And, you know, weeks and weeks go by, same thing. He still don't see no harvest from his one seed that the king had gave him. So it's time for all the kids to meet up with the king, okay? So all of them meet up with the king, right? Everybody excited. You know, they're like, oh, who's about to take over the throne? Who is the next person? Everybody super excited. Ling, he tell his mom, like, Mom, I don't want to go. I'm so ashamed. Nothing grew. So his mom encouraged him. She said, no, still go, Ling. She was like, even though it didn't grow, you didn't get a harvest, still go. So he go or whatever. And so all the kids present their harvest. You know, some of them had fruit trees, some of them had tomato plants, some of them had, you know, a plant, whatever kind of seeds that they had, because they all had one seed. So it was time for Ling to show his, and he was just so embarrassed, and he put his head down, and he was like, dang, you know, I gotta go do it, you know. So he built up the courage, and he went up to the king, and he showed the king what he had. So all the kids started laughing at him. Some of them felt sorry for him. It was like, hey, good try, kid, you know. But everybody was laughing at him. And then the king looked, and he said, Ling is now our new king. And I'm paraphrasing this story, y'all. And so the kids like, hold on, how is he the king? Nothing came from his seed. And that's when the king told them, he said, hey, he said, I gave each one of y'all a seed. And the seed that each one of y'all had, all the seeds was boiled. meaning nothing could come from none of those seeds because he boiled them. He said Ling is the only one who had enough integrity to not go and buy a tree or act like his tree grew up in order to please the king. So if that story hit y'all, see what that story mean to y'all, because that story hit me. I'm like, wow. I'm like, God, you are amazing. This is a great story, okay? So hold on to your integrity. Maybe you not doing what everybody else doing. Maybe it might look like some people ahead of you. Maybe it might look like, oh, it's funner doing this, it's funner doing that. Maybe you're a young person watching this right now, you're in your 20s, okay? Maybe, you know, you don't do certain things. You don't drink, you don't smoke, you know, you're not fornicating or whatever, but all your peers are. Don't get caught up in that, because you will reap if you faint not in due season. You will get your reward. If y'all seeing that story, Ling became the next king. Ling took over the throne for keeping his royalty. For keeping his integrity. Okay, so you can't buy morals and integrity. You can't buy being a good person. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes it might look like the other people getting ahead of you, but the Bible tells us, especially in the book of Proverbs, it always talk about evil people think that they getting ahead, but the Lord looks at them and laugh, because the Lord knows that their day is coming. I forgot exactly which scripture that was, but I'm just looking at you right now. You know, maybe you didn't go do what everybody else do. I'm talking to the ladies right now. Now, I don't have nothing against some women who ain't got their body augmentations, you know, to each his own, okay? But, you know, it's some women that, you know, they chose not to go do that. They're like, no, I'm going to accept myself how I am. I'm going to still love myself how I am. And, you know, they chose to just maybe just go to the gym and build their body, and however their body come out naturally, how their body is built, that's what they accept. But maybe, you know, you don't have a BBL body, okay? You don't have a mom makeover body. You know, maybe you ain't turning heads like everybody else, you know, but what you got is you got a peace of mind. You got a peace of mind, and you're not attracting the wrong kind of energy, because you got to think about it. If you went through all of that, what kind of energy you think you're going to attract? You see what I'm saying? What kind of energy you think you're going to attract? You know, going to get body augmentations, okay? Now, like I said, I ain't got nothing against somebody who got that done, to each his own, but I'm just sharing some examples on how it might look like some other people winning. It might look like you not winning, but you know, that's what we got to be true to ourselves, and we got to just be who we are and keep our integrity, and that's what you got. If you ain't got nothing else, you got your morals, you got your standards, and you got your integrity, all right? And when you stand still, and when you stand on what you believe in and being the kind of person you is, you breaking strongholds in your family. So maybe you don't see the reward right now, but maybe it jump down to your grandkids or your great grandkids or even your children. Maybe it jumps somewhere down, late down, you know, in generations. You see what I'm saying? You break strongholds. You see, because sometimes when you see people obtain greatness, and sometimes it seems fast, I'm not saying they didn't go through anything to get to their greatness, but some people had people down in their family that paved it already. Some people that don't even know about. Like, they probably don't even know that their great-great-granddad was an entrepreneur and he had his own shoe store and it was successful, you know. So what I'm saying is you breaking strongholds, so your reward will come in due season. Remember, God is an everlasting God, so it's bigger than what's going on this earth. He's an everlasting God. So like I said, y'all, I just want to get on here. I want to encourage y'all, do not get weary in well doing. I know the road can look a little hard sometimes on a narrow path, but what you got is you got a peace of mind. You got a relationship with the Most High God, the creator of the skies and in the heavens. You know, you got a relationship with the Almighty God. You own the winning team regardless, okay? So, yeah, I just wanted to encourage y'all. This real short, because, of course, y'all know I'm about to head to the gym. So this is real short, but I wanted to share that story with y'all. See how that story resonate with y'all. I don't know if y'all can look up the story or not to try to find that story, but again, I was reading the Dr. Cindy Trim's book called Unstoppable, and that's where I got the story from. And of course, you know, like I said, I paraphrased it, but I thought that was a good analogy to kind of use to helping us, you know, be encouraged, you know, on this walk, because it can be easy to want to conform, and every day you fighting to stay in alignment and be like, hey, I'm not gonna conform. And then I ain't gonna even say it's a fight every day, for real. Every now and then you can get caught slipping or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, sometimes you can feel a little different. You know, like, dang, you know, everybody looking at me like I'm crazy because I don't do this or I don't do that. You know what I mean? So anyways, y'all, I hope y'all having a great and amazing day. And I got some things I'm working on, so I'll be sharing that with y'all soon. But in the meantime, I will see y'all in the next video. Okay.